Hey, welcome to One More Rep with Coach Walker. I'm your host, Coach Walker. Welcome to episode 2. And today we are talking personality types, specifically being an introvert and a strength coach. How does that work exactly? So we're going to talk about the advantages, the disadvantages, and all that goes into that. So if you know me, don't know me, I am an introvert. Hands down, 100% introvert. That's how I operate. I've known specifically like quote unquote diagnosis wise since about my freshman year of college when I read the book The Introvert Advantage, and I read it and this is me. But basically like just kind of being an introvert in the strength and conditioning field, it is different in the aspect of every job posting you see, whether it be for a strength coach or a personal trainer, something that's in that framework. And want somebody that's quote unquote high energy and passionate, this, that, and the third. That's like basically they use descriptor words that typically apply to your extroverts. People are going to be that are more loud and boisterous and things like that, because everybody figures that's going to be the guy or the girl or the woman or the man that's going to get you the best results. That's going to keep everybody hyped up, amped up, and get everybody going. It works for some people, but what I've learned over the last 14 years of being in this field, and then the last 20 plus years of my life just working out, training for sport, and just being in the gym, there are multiple approaches that will work for multiple different people. And so me being an introvert, I've had to learn how to lean into my personality type, because if you get caught up in what's on the paper or what people say you're supposed to be, you lose yourself in an ocean of trying to be somebody else, and then you burn out very fast, and you don't really get to be your authentic self and really help people the way that they can be helped by the things that you can bring. So when I'm in a gym, I'm not really loud. I sometimes don't talk a whole lot. Like now, I have mastered the art of small talk for training, because I know it's necessary. It's necessary to not have all this dead air, to build a relationship, all of that good stuff. I also understand it is necessary to have that conversation to learn about your athletes, your clients, whether you're in the private sector or working for the military, working for a college, whatever you're working at. Those conversations are necessary because it helps you build rapport, it helps you learn more about the athlete, and it makes you one of their first lines of points of contact that they come to when they have an issue, or if they have an injury or pain or whatever. They're more willing to open up to you and talk to you. So being an introvert and being a strength and conditioning coach, I've learned how to lean into, I guess those softer skills of being able to connect with people, and not saying that extroverted strength and conditioning coaches can do that, because they 100% can. I'm just saying, for me, what I've learned from the people that I've worked around, it comes a little bit more natural, because I'm not forcing it, and it's just more my nature to be able to talk to you and be able to pick up on the slight subtleties that somebody else that's a little bit more ready to be the one talking rather than being a listener, they might miss. So especially when I work for the Army, I train maybe over 400 soldiers that passed the Army APFT in the AIT environment, the Advanced Individual Training environment at Fort Sill. So being in that environment, you have soldiers that come in, and they might be telling their command that, yeah, I want to be in the Army, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to pass the PT test. But as you get in there, you start training soldiers and you start training individuals, you kind of watch them. Your coach's eye catches the slight subtleties and body language, or even just listen to them talk to each other. You hear things that let you know that they don't want to be there. Now, what you do with that information is a little bit different, and is up to you as a coach. But you catch up. Those are small things, to where like you start to get that eye to kind of catch more things that are more not the physical of, is he squatting, is he deadlifting, is he doing this right, is he doing that wrong, or is she doing that right, is she doing that wrong. It's more the intuitive stuff. Now, some of the things that make it rough being an introvert and a strength and conditioning coach is that, by and large, as an introvert, people are not necessarily your jam. Like, you want to be by yourself, but you have a skill set that's geared towards helping people and being in the presence of people. So you have to learn how to manage your energy. If you don't, you're screwed, period. You're going to be constantly burned out. You're going to be tired all the time. And it's going to make for a long life, whether it be just for the career or just your life outside of your actual job, to where interaction with your family, all of that stuff. So, because it's funny, like I'll be in a session, I'll talk to you, and it seems like I love to talk because I am engaging with you on whatever topics, whether it be about your family, work, the workout itself, anything, dogs, because I have a dog, I've had dogs, my clients have dogs. We talk about anything under the sun. We talk about what's going on in the sports world, and outside of that, I don't do that much talking. And then you get home and you had these conversations. Oh, okay, why don't you talk to me like you talk to your clients? Well, those are planned conversations. Like, you plan your energy for those things, and like you have a certain amount, and then you just need a little bit of a break to recharge and get back to the conversations at home. And that's just kind of how that works. So that's one of the biggest disadvantages of being an introvert, is that, like, that energy drain that can be there if you don't plan it out right. The positives is you get the charge back from an energy standpoint when you get to see people achieve their goals or just have a great workout. You get that's a boost, because it's one of those things to where you didn't have to really do a whole lot for it, as far as like outside of using your skill set. But being an introvert in this field has its ups and downs. It is definitely more ups when you start to own it, and when you figure out what it looks like for you to be a coach, what it looks like for you to be an introvert, and what it looks like to marry those two together. Because there is always that balance of being both, because you're not two people. Like, you're that same person, whether you're in the gym, you're at home. And so you get to build the skill sets as a strength coach and build the personality traits as an introvert that make you the best coach for the people who you serve. Because you're not going to be the coach, you're not going to be the right fit for everybody, but you're going to be the right fit for the people who fit for you. So especially if you're in a strength and conditioning environment, specifically a weight room where you're working with teams, you're going to be dealing with a lot of personalities. And so you're going to have to weather that storm of energy being pulled away from you, the loud noises, all that stuff. And so you have to figure out what that looks like for you in that environment. But you also need to put your systems in place that keep you going. Because for me, in the gym, I'm energized, I'm ready to go, and and I'm going to be there, be present. Now, when the session is over, I might sit down and crash for a minute, because it was a lot for me to be in that space. But when the next session starts up, I'm ready and I'm on and I'm ready to go. It's just when you hit the end of the day, you have to have your things that bring you energy, whether it be listening to music, reading a book, going to sleep, getting a workout in, whatever it looks like. You have to refuel yourself, replenish your energy stores, because if you don't, running on E is going to get tired quick, very fast, and you're going to start to hate what you do, and that's not a good look. So one of the other negative, not so much a negative, but one of the disadvantages of being an introvert, specifically for me, is when you're giving your cues and your corrections. And I don't know if I would love to know if this happens to extrovert coaches, because if I've told you something, how to make a correction, 3 times realistically in a session, well, early on when we were first training, I'll tell you multiple times. It doesn't bother me. I won't say it doesn't bother me, but I'll continue on. But if we're a month, 2 months, 3 months, 5 months into training, and I'm still correcting the exact same thing, I'll give you maybe 2 or 3, and it's like, screw it, they're not listening, they're not getting it. And I have to fight against that, because that's the introvert in me saying, okay, this clicks for me. Why doesn't it click for you? When it should be more the coach saying, even though it clicks for me, I have to continue to push and continue to give you the cues and the correction and the feedback to make sure it clicks for you, because that's what you're here for. So that is one of the, I feel for me, that's one of the bigger disadvantages of being an introvert, because I always have to be cognizant of that, because you'll get in your head and be thinking like, okay, this person isn't listening to me, why are they even here? And the reality is, you just have to figure out a different way to deliver that message, because the way you're delivering it just isn't being heard. So you have to find a different way to make sure the person is getting the information that you're trying to give, because at the end of the day, everybody's there to help that individual or those individuals get better at what they're doing. It was another one that I kind of lost here, but let me think here. I don't know. Like it's a lot of moving parts to it. It's just, you find yourself as an introvert in this space fighting against a lot of stereotypes of you're meek, you're quiet, you can't get the best out of people. You're not a leader. That's one of the other ones. Like, oh my goodness. And you just lead differently, and you put your voice out there differently, because one of the things I always told the soldiers when I was training them to get ready for the H.I.P.P to pass it, because again, I was training, over the course of 2 years, I trained over 400 soldiers with a pretty much like a 98-99% success rate. The ones who didn't pass, those are guys who had decided they didn't want to be in the Army anymore. So one of the things I always told everybody is, you'll never hear me yell inside our gym space, which was a converted meeting hall. We had like hard linoleum floors and like a couple of pieces of equipment, but we made it work. Again, 400 soldiers, 98% of them passed. But what I told them, like, you'll never hear me hollering here. It's all we based off respect. If you need to go to the restroom, whatever, say, hey, coach, this is what I need to go to the restroom, whatever. We just have a basic general dialogue, because I know you may have been yelled. You may have been yelled at all day by your command. I'm not really going to yell at you. I need to get the best out of you. But I told him, like, when we're out there on that course running those 2 miles, you will hear me yell then, because now I need everything you got. And also I'll let you know. So when we got out there, those are moments where I know what I got to do, where the shift needs to happen, and what my presentation is, what my coaching style is, to get the most out of you. And again, I got not countless, like 400 plus soldiers across that finish line to make it into the U.S. Army, to become soldiers and move on to their active duty station. So it was I have a skill set, and I have figured out how to apply my skill set and my talents at the right moment for the right people. So yeah, overall, like, I mean, there are days where I hate being a strength coach, not specifically for being an introvert, but at the same time, it's like, I think part of it ties into being an introvert a little bit, because you get in your own head, and so you always have to figure out how to get out of your own head, to where, because if you get lost in there, that maze, you can be in the middle of it and never figure out the way to get out. So you always have to be cognizant of your thought processes, and I think that goes for anybody, not just introverts, to kind of keep yourself focused on the task at hand and keep yourself moving forward towards the goal of helping people improve, get better, and especially for me, maximize, improve, excel, train like you mean it, because that's the bottom line. Because if we are working towards your goals, we're going to maximize your time to improve your skill set, whether it be for the tactical field, the basketball court, football field, whatever the field looks like, soccer field, and we're going to help you excel in whatever endeavor you're going for, whether that being the best soldier that you can be, the best athlete you can be, or if you're a mom or dad or just anybody living your day-to-day life, being the best individual that you can be. So that's all what it boils down to, making sure that you can maximize your God-given talents in your personality traits that you have learned to manage and live successfully within, and just give the world the best that you have. And that's all I'm here for. Making sure that I give the best that I can give while I'm still in this field, whether I stay in this field for another 15 years or I leave tomorrow. I'm going to give it all I got and make sure that whether I'm leaning into my introversion or I'm leaning into my strength coach or I'm leaning into both at the same time, I'm giving you the best I got. So that's episode 2. Nothing much to talk about except just talking about those personality traits of being an introvert. We're talking about the advantages and disadvantages of being an introvert, because there are some in both lanes. But overall, I think there are more advantages than disadvantages. And if you are an introverted strength and conditioning coach, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. What do you think? What are your biggest challenges as an introvert? What are your biggest strengths as an introvert? Coaching, whether you coach private sector, collegiate level, high school level, what helps you be the best strength coach when it comes to your introversion? This has been Coach Walker. Maximize, improve, excel, train like you mean it.